What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Static Industry. So I'm over here right now making myself some brass casings because we're going to be doing a little bit with Create today. I wouldn't really say we're getting into Create. I'm using an item from Create for a little bit of automation. And this was actually something that I got a question about in my Discord that I'm going to be answering right now. I'm also going to get myself some of this polished rose quartz, which I had to bring some molten redstone over, and we mixed that with nether quartz, so it's a little different recipe than what you're used to in Create. And I'm going to be making myself one of these threshold switches. Basically, the way that this thing works is that it can read a signal off of the fill level of a container. And that container can also include large tanks, which we're going to be putting one on because I want to limit our steam production. I went ahead and moved our boiler over here and added an extra one. And I set up this tank that we're going to be filling up with steam. It's already full, but you'll see that our burners are still boiling stuff, which I don't want it to be just wasting our fuel. So we're going to be setting up this threshold switch to control those. So I got this set up from my buddy Apex over in the Static Discord. Go check him out for sure if you haven't already. The way that this works is I've got a threshold switch from Create and it's facing into a tank hatch right there. So it's reading how much steam is in there. Then I have a redstone link. You can filter that however you like. Basically just sets the signal frequency. I just put some asphalt in there because that was what I had in my inventory. And then back here, I have some Modern Dynamics pipes. This is an extractor module on that pipe, and it's set to redstone signal low. And then I've got this redstone link coming over here in receive mode. You can switch to receive mode by clicking that just like that. And you'll see that whenever I turned it off, it started to pull. But with a high signal, it will not pull anything. So as long as this guy has steam in it, it's not going to send fuel to these guys. So I can pull out all of the fuel and they'll just end up running out until this guy starts to run out of steam. Then they'll start to send some fuel over and we'll start making steam again. That way it doesn't waste all of our charcoal that we're making. So here it is in action. The steam boiler just dropped below the threshold. And this guy is sending some items over there so it'll start boiling. I've got this thing upgraded with an analog circuit and 3 acceleration cards. The analog circuit isn't really necessary. That adds this match tag data. So really I don't have to do that. But it also adds this closest first option. I'm going to say round robin. But yeah, so it'll automatically fill those up with... Really, I need to switch this out for a bronze input hatch so that it's only a stack each. And that's plenty for that. And then I'll have this set to a certain point here to where as soon as it jumps back to a good fill level, that guy will stop pulling. In case you're wondering, I have the thresholds set to 38 lower and 30 upper. And honestly, I might even turn this down to 35. Basically, all I want is for it to turn on for just a couple seconds, long enough for this thing to pull some charcoal over and then shut right back off because I don't want it to sit there and just waste charcoal. I want it to be as hopefully efficient as possible. So I'm currently over here. I set up 3 minimum size tanks because I'm not going to store a whole lot of this stuff right now. I just want to be able to store a decent amount. But I'm setting up our first step of oil processing. So I've got 3 distilleries all going into hatches on the back. One is going to be for light fuel, one is going to be for heavy fuel, and one is going to be for naphtha. Just like that, all on the crude oil recipe. And then I think they're probably each going to go ahead and get their own MV steam turbine just like this. That way they can run at the max capacity. And then I'll hook those up to some steam and up to our oil production. And just as easy as 1, 2, 3, these guys are all filling up with their respective fluids. We got sulfuric naphtha, sulfuric heavy fuel, and sulfuric light fuel coming in. Really easy setup. I've just got the oil being pulled in a fluid pipe straight out of this guy underneath and run into the back over here to these distilleries where they're getting processed. Of course, I've got the steam right there so that these guys can run at max overclock as efficiently as possible. So I've got another setup over here because we're gonna need hydrogen for the next step, being able to basically wash this stuff and get ourselves some sulfuric acid and heavy fuel out of the sulfuric stuff. And the way we're gonna get hydrogen is by electrolyzing water. So I'm gonna connect my water right here up to this electrolyzer, and that's going to start getting us oxygen and hydrogen. Well, we've already got a ton of oxygen. We've got a full tank of it down there from our emerald processing, so we don't need that. I set up a filter right here on this item pipe. It's pulling oxygen into this automatic trash can, which should just destroy it. And then I have another filtered item pipe pulling hydrogen out to go this way into this other tank, and hopefully once we get some, that's what will end up happening. And yeah, there we go. You can see we got 2 hydrogen buckets right there, and the oxygen has disappeared. It looks like it must have gone into the trash can, which is exactly what I want. So that setup is perfect now. That's exactly what we want. We've got automatic hydrogen coming in. So I went ahead and set up 4 new tanks over here, and I've got chemical reactors behind all of those. This is where we're going to be doing the processing of these different fluids that we've gotten from our oil here. So I'm going to be pulling hydrogen over to these, and then I've got sulfuric acid being pulled out of all of them and into this tank, and then they're going to just output their regular output into the other tanks. So I'm going to have to pull everything from over here into their respective one. It's going to be a lot of pipes, and it's probably not going to look that great, but it's going to be functional. And now that everything is being pulled over here and I ran our hydrogen underneath, we are starting to produce naphtha, sulfuric acid, light fuel, and heavy fuel. And all of those will end up being put into their different tanks. I got to go through and set these to out. I forgot to do that. Just like that. And there we go. So we should start seeing sulfuric acid build up over there. Fluid auto extraction, fluid auto extraction, fluid auto extraction. And now those will pump into these different tanks: heavy fuel, light fuel, and naphtha, just like that. And then we'll have our sulfuric acid right over here. So I need to go through and get buckets of everything, I guess, but we're really making strides in the right direction. Now we've got a ton of quests we can claim, so let's go ahead and see how much stuff we can get out of all this. Let's see if we get anything decent. We got a wireless player charger. That's actually pretty nice for once we get in the stuff that we might need that for. Boosted diesel, wow. That's huge, honestly. Distillery, electric blast furnace. This is all actually like really nice rewards. Some diamond plates. We got to get some emerald plates. I don't think we have any of those yet. But we are getting close, because once we get to overclocking, then we'll be able to get those. So I got a couple new machines over here. I've got 2 centrifuges, and I've got them both hooked up to my ME system. And on one, we're going to be exporting raw iron, and that should start going in there anytime now. We're also going to be outputting, hold on, what are we outputting? Ruby, I think? Ruby ore, I believe, is what we want to output. No, maybe it's ruby dust. Ruby dust is what we want. Okay, so we're going to output ruby dust just like that. And in order to get that ruby dust, we'll just have to macerate some ruby ore. And that should start sending those. I'm not sure why that's not connecting. I'm wondering if it might be because I used these ME wires right here. I didn't think about the fact that I didn't have any raw iron in the system because it was all in my inventory. That's on me. So I noticed that I was able to actually do redstone dust, which will turn into iron dust, ruby dust, quartz dust, and it's supposed to give me some neodymium as well, I think. Yeah, neodymium right there. So I figured I might as well go ahead and use that, right? And then get some extra stuff. And then probably what I'll end up doing is just pumping all of that into like a drawer right up here, and then have like a drawer controller to access it from the ME system. And then that ruby dust will be able to just go straight into right here. All right, we are looking good. I went ahead and added a macerator right here with ruby ore. Got our drawer access point right there so that that's able to output and just go into this drawer as well. And then right down here, I've got all of these set up with exporters doing all of their stuff. And then I've got a storage bus right on this guy. I don't have to prioritize it or partition it, I mean, because all of the drawers are locked anyway, so it's only going to put what it can into there. So y'all may recall that I said we were going to get into a little bit of create. We're going to try and get some precision mechanisms. So it looks like the recipe was changed a little bit. It now takes gold plates. I think usually it just takes a piece of gold, but that's okay. So we're going to throw our cogwheels. That's not how you do that. We're going to throw our cogwheels in there, our large cogs in there, and some iron nuggets in there, and then I can just throw some gold plates on there, and it should just go to town on those things, and then I can just kind of rotate them around my direction. And I must have done that wrong. Does it not go? Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I did that right. I don't know why it's not stopping right there. Okay, let me see if I can make this quit, because I don't know why it's not. Should be going to this one first. All right, I got it figured out, and I wanted to show y'all this because it's kind of funny. I'm just sitting here with my magnet, throwing them back onto the thing so that they keep going through, because you have to send it through 5 times. So I'm just sending them through with my magnet like this, and they just keep coming back to me. All right, I was able to get myself 8 precision mechanisms. That's just fine. All I really want is to be able to make this rotation speed controller, because we're going to be putting that guy to use for some pretty cool stuff. All right, so check this out. I got a couple water wheels down there, and they're coming up into a vertical gearbox here that's being kind of strangely rotated. I didn't have any chain drives, so I just used gearboxes into our rotational speed controller. I've got that guy set to 128, so that's got this thing rotating like crazy. Connected up to a deployer, which I'm going to put this Fortune 10 Efficiency 5 Bedrock pickaxe in, right? Now, I've got a vacuum hopper over there, so any ore that I take, so say I take some of this ruby ore, place that down, and I thought that it would actually mine that, but apparently it doesn't. Okay, so I just learned something new about create. If you look at it and see at the top where it says mode attack, that's what it has to be in. So you can right click, you have to right click on the area where the deployer hand is, because use is not going to do anything. You want to be in attack mode. And then I can throw some ores into this block placer here, I think. Well, I might have to give it like some Y value or something. Or I don't even know what I'm talking about. I might have to give it some redstone value or something like that. But I believe being in attack mode, I literally just had it working. I don't know what I changed. Okay, now I'm really confused because it was just working a second ago. Okay, I think I got it figured out. I had to actually have something pulling it out because the ruby was actually just going into here. So I'll show you what I mean. If I remove this extractor right here, right, and then I put my pickaxe in there and I place the ruby down, it stops because the ruby goes into the deployer, and then I have to actually pull it out of the deployer to be able to get it. And so what I can do is throw down these item pipes, throw down an extractor module on there, and I'm going to blacklist the pickaxe from being pulled out. I'm going to add max extraction from acceleration cards and motors, and now I can place my pickaxe in there, and I should be able to go like that, and it'll get pulled into this gold barrel, which is set up with an import bus going into our ME system. So anything that gets placed down here immediately gets fortune 10'd, and as long as this thing pulls it out pretty quickly, it should be good to go. So I can place that down like that, and as soon as everything gets pulled out, it's going to go to the next thing. So here's the final system. It's a little complex. I've got a brass funnel right here with a vacuum hopper that's pulling items out as well, and then I've got those being extracted at the same time. That's all that is for maximum extraction speed, because I noticed that it was still a little behind having just an extractor on there. So basically this just kind of doubles the amount that's being pulled out, and you can see that we're getting lots and lots of stuff out of there. I've got a redstone timer right here next to my block placer, right? And that guy's set to 4 ticks, just like that. And then down here, I have 2 export buses, both filtered to just whatever ores I felt like I wanted, going into a gold barrel, which are being extracted all the way up into our block placer, getting this whole system going. So over time, obviously, we're going to be getting a lot of stuff. It's going to take a while. I mean, you can see this thing's not the fastest in the world, and it's pretty complex, so it's not really something that's super easy to rebuild. So probably just going to kind of let this one wait out. I might try and pick and choose what ores I really need it to do, because bauxite we have a ton of. I don't know how much we're gonna need. Probably a lot for aluminum production, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. But I thought that was kind of a cool setup. I got that from my boy Apex Predator. Definitely go check him out. I've used 2 of his things in this episode, so definitely check him out. He's got a cool static series going on, but this is a pretty cool setup. I'm looking forward to getting a lot more resources out of this thing. I decided to go ahead and add a tank right here for XP. Most of the time I'll be around here so I can come by and grab it, but I don't want to just stack up and end up lagging the server way out. I guess not server, but you know what I mean, lagging the world way out. So I figured it'd be best to go ahead and have it pumped into there if it does get collected, and I can step back here and check and make sure that it's actually getting collected. It looks like it might stack there a little bit, but I think for the most part it's going where it needs to go. So let's see. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. All right, so I actually upgraded it even a little bit more. I know I keep changing it up, but what I ended up doing is moving the vacuum hopper down a block, and now I've got it getting pulled out right there, and now all of the XP goes in there. I can actually just completely block this thing up. All of the items that I want go into it, they get pulled out. All the XP goes into there. I think this is going to be a pretty sweet setup. I don't even have to look at it anymore, basically. I've got 2 camouflaged item pipes right here, or sorry, fluid pipes, and they're just being pulled into there. I'm loving it. So what's pretty cool about this thing, I just used it. I've got my mending pickaxe right here. Since my unbreakable one is in there, I can just kind of AFK right here next to this thing, and it'll heal up my pickaxe. I did have to, I just realized that our storage down here, for whatever reason, was not connecting up right. So I had to move this over and connect all of these up together correctly. So because we ran out of storage, and I was like, what in the world? That's weird. But yeah, so now everything is connected up correctly. I have these inventory cable connectors on there. And then of course the storage bus up in my ME system. I don't know if this is correct. I may have to, actually I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I think that's what I need, because this one already should be, yeah, that one's already connected, so that's fine. And then that's connected across right there, so that should be good. I don't think we have to worry about that. But guys, I hope that y'all enjoyed this one. I'm thinking next episode we'll probably continue a little bit with the oil processing, and then try and put together the titanium, we're not even close to titanium, the stainless steel line. We're getting pretty close. We've got everything we need. We just got to get a little better processing going for it. So I'm going to continue to kind of mess around here, maybe try and get some better stuff going as far as automation. But I think next episode we're going to try and get to both things. We're going to try and get to stainless steel, and we're going to try and get to overclocking. So down this way, overclocking, and hopefully maybe even advanced overclocking. I don't think the recipe is that different. Yeah, not really too bad. We just got to get the polyethylene. And then stainless steel, we're very close. We're like right there. So hopefully we can get there next episode. Get us a vacuum freezer going, and maybe get some more upgrades going. Y'all, I appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take care, guys.